Alright, so welcome to the MANvFAT Wales Podcast Meet the Team episode. So I'm sat here today with Lee Champion.
Hello.
And Billy Jackson.
I'm imagining theme music going on as I talk.
Yeah. It's all fading out. I'm going to talk about the theme music actually later on because it's something.
Can I have fireworks when my name gets mentioned?
No, most definitely not.
Okay.
So, just wanted to welcome everyone to the podcast. My name's Stan. I'm the coach of the Newport League currently, and we're having a great time down in Newport. Brand new league launched.
Did you hear that? Newport currently?
I'm
hoping you're not going anywhere. Thank you very much.
I didn't.
This ain't a part-time thing, you know.
No, it's definitely not that. It's more a plan of world domination, taking over the world. That's all it is. I'll always be Newport. So, into who we are. So I'm Stan, coach of the Newport League, currently and forever. So outside of MANvFAT, yeah. I feel I've got to say that now. So outside of MANvFAT, I'm a teacher in a school, primary school teacher, background in education, married, 2 children, was in 2018, back all the way since I was probably about 18, extremely fat. So found my way to MANvFAT as a player, joined our Cardiff League, the first league in Wales. As a player in 2018, I think it was June, it was boiling hot. We had a lovely venue. We were all getting sunburned as we played. It was a really nice summer actually, and started to shift some timber. End of 2018, the job came up with the league as the player facilitator, so I applied for that. I was lucky enough to get it, and that started my journey towards coaching. I became a coach of the Newport League, not because of any merit, not because of any application that was really good. It was more a case of I was hounding the regional manager and said I need to be coach of the Newport League. That was in 2020, and then we had bloody COVID. Won't mention COVID, but it did spoil the plans for the Newport League initially. But I actually do think we've come back a bit stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely agree. I think what's happening now is just a case of it could have happened sooner, but you know it was worth waiting for. I think how successful things have gone so far. I think definitely worth the wait.
Because you obviously, Bill, you were obviously a player in the Cardiff League for a long time, really, weren't you?
Yeah, so joined Cardiff in, I always forget the year. It was pre-Joseph, which is my first son and only son. So that was 2008.
Current son. We'll call him current son.
My first son.
That's getting dark, isn't it?
I said current coach, and everyone had to go at me.
Yeah, but that implies I'm not going to be my son forever.
I was not implying that about Newport.
I'm more worried about the fact you said it's your first son, because you then changed it first and only.
I'm not sure Catherine's going to hear this, so I think we're okay.
I think it's safe. Although there's not a lot of crossover with the readership, no. So you were a Cardiff player.
2018, that's right. And just really, for me, it was a new venture being in Wales, let alone starting on a weight loss journey. So I was really struggling with that side of things, and also just meeting new people outside of Bristol, which is my hometown. So toddled along to MANvFAT Cardiff pretty much on my own. I knew a couple of names that were there, but not anything more than that. And completely fell in love with it. There's a real community spirit about every league that I visited, and I really wanted that for Newport.
Yeah.
So yeah, through the lockdowns, we continued to build that, and it was important to stay in regular touch, which we did. And you know, like you say, we've come back after the 3rd lockdown, kicking. I wasn't kicking and screaming, but that would imply it wasn't winning. But really firing on all cylinders. All the makings of a really positive league.
I think so. I definitely think so. So in terms of the media output for our league, so we've got our little podcast going. We've got our In Conversation, which is what we're starting with here, where Billy and Champo interview different players. So I just want to get your views on how that's going as well. So the vision really for the podcast is just outreach really, making sure we share what we're doing, making sure that's heard around our leagues, around the Welsh leagues, and maybe nationally, depending on how well it goes. We've got our YouTube channel up and running, which you guys are doing, and I'll come to you in a second to explain about it, because it wasn't my idea, I had nothing to do with it. But that is putting out some really good content where I think the people who some people know about but most people don't are having the chance to share their story, and I think that's really powerful. It's a chance for us to be proud of what's happening in our league. So I think there's 250 odd kilos gone at the moment, so it's a quarter of a tonne gone in 4 weeks. And, that needs to be celebrated. I think we're going to use this and all the media output just for recruitment and retention, so the people who are here, making sure that they know they're always very welcome, and there's lots of good stuff going on they can be involved in. But also, I think we've still got 4 spaces left in the league, and obviously people are going to get skinny and want to leave at some point as well. So it'll serve as a good process for recruitment for us, for Swansea, for Cardiff, hopefully. And hopefully it'll be a chance for me to do a bit of coaching as well, because on a Friday night we get a bit of a finite time. I have people like Billy Champo come in a bit early before session, and they get a chance to have a bit more time, and that helps me during the session. But it'll be nice to go through some questions, answer a few queries from players during this session. That'll be really good during the podcasts. I do want to mention one of the reasons we've got our really snazzy music at the start that Billy mentioned earlier. So the snazzy music at the start is a song called Bloom by the band Colours of One, and that's from one of our players, Mike, on the Orange team. And it's not I did say to him, it's not a sycophantic thing. We're not just choosing it because he's him. I chose it because I really like him. But if you have a chance to listen to Colours of One generally on Spotify, I'll drop the link underneath this podcast as well. If you have a chance to listen to them, the lyrics in their songs really do chime in with weight loss as well. So have a listen. I'm not going to mention it. I'll talk about that in a future episode, hopefully. But I just want to mention that's a local connection. That's part of our team, our family, for want of a better word. Oh, the other thing, talking of family, is the fact that in Newport we've got 8 teams. Obviously, Champo and Billy are from the Mighty Greens. Mighty Greens. Doing amazing on the pitch this year as well. And scales.
On the scales?
And on the scales.
I think it's important to mention that yes, it's going right on the pitch, but it is ultimately the scales that matter. And I think it's something that needs to be flagged up. There's a lot of people that when they get on the football pitch think that it matters to them on the football pitch. Hey, it might do. Competitive football's great, but we're a big, massive family on a weight loss program. I think that should just be the core focus of what we're doing here.
Yeah, and generally this whole podcast and media output, YouTube channel, everything is about celebrating the league, because the league is there to support. You do have amazing support from your team. Your Fatburn Rovers WhatsApp is really good for supporting your Fatburn Rovers people, but this is about supporting the other.
You should see half the stuff that goes on in there.
Listen, it would make me wince. But in terms of the players you've already interviewed, so you've interviewed Maze from the Oranges, Alex from the Blues, Rob from the Whites, Richard and Stu from Headquarters, which had a really good.
And they're coming out. And I tell you what, they're both very good watches, so I'm really excited for them to come out. They'll be great to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. It's really good to share. We've got Gavin on the Purples. Andy has agreed to do it on the Blacks, I believe.
He has. So we're going to get Gavin and Andy in on Friday. I'm hoping to get possibly one more. One more. I'm hoping to get somebody from the Purples, but we'll keep that under wraps for now, just in case they don't agree.
Well, there's always a way of making them agree when there's Sam Miguel on tap. And then we're obviously going to speak to you, Lee. So in terms of the output, it's making sure that it's a balance of teams as well, because what the stories are in each, I think people share widely with their teams, but they don't share wider than that.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to see this all happening. So that's who we are. That's our roles in the programme. Tick. I've got just so anyone who's listening to this knows, I've got copious notes. I'm not making sure we don't miss anything at all. So we can have a bit of a quick-fire Q&A for our 2 in-conversation hosts now. Are you ready? Don't look at the question.
I've got to look at the question before you do that, not being picky,
Go on.
but you've done sort of an intro of who you are. I haven't said who I am yet. No one knows I'm here.
I
No
did
one
introduce
knows where I
Bill.
work.
He's assuming people care who he is.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a slightly skinnier version of what I was before I started this programme, just taking up some time doing some conversations with people. Hey.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I did say we weren't going to miss a single thing, but I have got that written down. So, the in conversation. So this came about. Do you want to explain how it came about, champ?
Yeah, well, I was thinking.
Tell them about the Fanta. Because you asked me over a bottle of
It all
Fanta.
started for a bottle of Fanta.
Yeah, well, I was sort of sceptical on sort of things that you could drink, things you couldn't drink. I used to drink a lot of pop. I just quite open about that. I could easily drink a 2-litre bottle of pop a day. I used to go for a stage where it was Coca-Cola, but that sort of changed to sort of like just Fanta and Tango. And I wasn't sure whether sort of like the no sugar versions were alright or not, because a lot of people say, but then if it says no sugar, they add more. Well, how's that possible? Because they're not adding sugar. So it was quite a confusing thing. So I posed a question to Stan about it, to which he sort of laughed and replied, "Yeah, it's absolutely fine." And you could drink no sugar stuff. I mean, I've had this conversation with Stan a couple of times over Pepsi Max, where Pepsi Max is fine.
God's drink.
Yeah. I found that out over the last couple of weeks. I think I buy a couple of bottles sort of and drink them.
Top of the list.
And it's great. So that's sort of, it starts from there. I was having a bit of a thought, a bit of a brainstorm sort of after that. And it sort of crossed my mind that there's so many guys on this programme that would potentially sort of have massively different backgrounds, different life stories, different reasons why they joined the project. So I sort of went along and sort of proposed to Stan that, is it optional, or is it a possibility that maybe I could sort of dig into these sort of people's reasons why they're doing this project, get to know a bit more about them. And it's sort of stemmed from there. I mean, Billy, you helped because I asked you to help. Sort of didn't give you the option really. I sort of said, "Can you help me?"
As all good things in MANvFAT, you don't give people the option. You just got to get it done.
But it does, it's one of these things that a lot of people have told me that I should quit my job here and take up being an interviewer. You find it's a new challenge. But some people, some people are a bit camera shy. Some people will not feel comfortable sort of asking the questions and answering the questions and that sort of thing. But if you've watched any of the podcast, if you've watched any of the YouTube videos so far of the conversations, you'll just see straight away from what we've already spoken about with various people, the different types of people, the different types of reasons they do MANvFAT, and the sort of different backgrounds that they all come from. And I just think that it's great for people to be able to talk about it. It's quite often that you might come across a guy, you might be walking around somewhere and you'll see quite a large guy, and you won't know that guy. If I went down to Barry Island and I walked past anyone from our project, I won't name names, but anyone from our project who thinks they're an overweight guy, and then let's say there's a story behind every method, and people that want to join this programme have a story behind the method, and I just think there's so many different opinions and things that people can pick up on from other people. Like Alex Mays, prime example.
Yeah.
Now we know Mays' story. If you haven't watched the YouTube video for that yet, please go and watch it, because the amount of work that guy has done to get himself into the position that he's in now is fantastic, and the reason that he does MANvFAT now is just a tremendous reason to go and watch that video, and it just shows what sort of guy that he is.
For sure.
But you might learn something from somebody. You might not feel embarrassed about yourself or your reasonings if you're listening to other people talk about it. And not only that, but I just find that if people talk about it, more people can support and help them reach their goals on this project. For people to reach their goals in this project. And a lot of people are quite shy about wanting to talk about themselves. You know, I sort of was like that before. I didn't like speaking to people about how I become strong. I used to be a twig, and I think at a time everyone used to be a twig, but quite a while ago I used to be a twig, and I mean I would happily show you a sort of a photo of what I was before. I think sort of things started taking the worst for me when I worked at Virgin Media, sat in a call centre, eating lots of rubbish all day, constantly on the phones, and it just sort of, the amount of junk that I was eating through that period just sort of made me sort of a lot bigger, and it just sort of, because the exercising element of things wasn't there as such. I was playing quite a lot of football back then, but injuries and stuff, I just wanted, and it just sort of took over. But that was another reason why I sort of come to you about the conversation.
Because your exact wording, so I can remember exact wording that you said is, I've had an idea, and then you didn't really say anything else for like 5 or 6 seconds. I just let you think, and you said, what about if we started making a few YouTube videos? And I said, yeah, fine. Because I knew that your vision for it was such that it was exactly that. It was sharing ideas, sharing the league wider, because I know you're, it's very, very rare to have a league, a venue manager, anyone involved with the venue involved with the league. So the venue manager generally just says, here's your pitch, crack on, you can use the room, I'll kick you out at the end. That's generally what happens across the leagues in the UK. There are a few notable exceptions, but I think Newport's a real notable exception. And you've got this idea that you want to share the league, you want our league to be the best. You know, everything we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think this output is part of that.
Well, before we had our very first meeting when you came down here previously with...
Don't wait there. Don't go telling your whole story, because what date did I say? 16th?
We've got
Mark the date in your diary, 16th of June.
Yeah, 16th of June is
telling your whole story. The rest of Champo.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to give it.
Just
I'm not going to
tease them.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I got to be careful.
It's coloured history.
As you were saying about, obviously, you know, it's rare for sort of managers here and stuff to take part of it. Me and my colleague, David Scanlon, when we first met you and we had the meeting, I didn't know anything about MANvFAT up until this first meeting. No idea. Didn't know it existed, didn't know what it was about. So I went and done a little bit of a research about it. And after having a conversation with you and Stuart Norman saw come down, I could see the project instantly being a success here in Newport. I could just see it ultimately working straight away with
huge,
no exceptions to anybody. But I won't say too much more. I'll leave most of it to my interview.
When Billy interviews you, there'll definitely be lots to say about your journey and everything you've been through. You know, to get you to the point where you're bigger, and to get you to the point where you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. 5% this week.
Absolutely.
Lots to celebrate.
I think my reaction to getting my 5% this week just says how much it meant to me personally.
Absolutely.
But again, we'll talk about that when the day comes.
So this output is all about, you know, it started from an idea that you had, brought Billy on board, and it's about making the league better as a whole, which is everything we want to do, isn't it? So, quick fire questions. About number 1 and number 2. Do you want to be number 1 and number 2, Bill?
Give me number 1.
See, I've written you down as number 2.
Fire away.
Can we not both answer them?
1 or 2?
Can we both answer them both?
No, because
Okay.
I've tailored them.
Okay.
For what I know about you guys. So, Billy.
You're going to ask me his questions now, then?
I'm going to ask you your questions. Because I'm good like that. Billy. Quick fire answers. Straight away.
Okay.
There's no thinking.
Okay.
It won't be hard.
Can I apologise in advance for any of my answers that may sound stupid?
Absolutely. If any of these you get wrong, it'll be a miracle, because there's no right or wrong. So
is it a quiz?
First one's on food. Beer or cider?
Beer.
Ooh, straight in.
100%.
Bristol?
Bristol.
Is it a big beer town?
I thought you were going to say Bristol or somewhere else. Bristol's the best city in the world.
I thought you were all cider drinkers.
Let me put this in the ground now. Bristol is the best city in the world, bar none.
Okay.
But no, I didn't bring cider with me.
And you're here today.
We can. Don't worry, we can cut all of this.
Watching Warcam.
Champo,
Yes.
your food question.
Okay.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to say that.
I'm a sucker for a sweet tooth.
What'd you go for?
Absolutely.
What'd you go for?
Anything that would go in my mouth when I got it. That sounds horribly wrong.
Straight away.
No, hang on a second.
Away.
Can I just... Hang on a second.
Next question. We're going to move to Billy's football question. Billy. City or Rovers?
Oh, Rovers.
It's got to be Rovers.
Rovers. There's so much I can tell you how bad Bristol City are.
Okay, you don't have to go into it now. It's a quick fire question. Champo, bit of a longer one. 80th minute. You're 1-0 up. Do you defend or attack?
I'm going to say defend.
Yeah.
It all comes down to game management.
Park the bus.
It comes down to game. I wouldn't say I park the bus. Because it's 1-0 is a dangerous scoreline. You can't sit on a 1-0 because it only just takes one chance and you could go 1-2, 2-0. So you
As Eminem once said, you only get one chance.
Yeah.
Eminem once said,
You've got
attack.
whilst you're winning, you've got to be a bit more conservative.
Yeah.
I think that's a difficult one to answer at the 80th minute.
Listen, we don't come here. We don't come here to answer easy questions. We have the hard-hitting questions.
No, that's why. Well, yeah, that's what this project's about. Hard work, great rewards.
Nutrition question.
Ready for this hard-hitting question.
Hard-hitting nutrition question. You go to a restaurant. You know you're going to have 2 courses.
I'm in the zone.
Starter and main, or main and dessert?
Starter and dessert.
What?
Straight up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did say there were no wrong answers, but he has absolutely screwed it there. Is it starter or is it dessert?
I tend to go for a starter and a main.
Nice. Well, he wouldn't, because he's a sweet man. Here's your question. For nutrition,
Can I have the same one as him?
would you say it's better to... There is a right one there. So.
Okay.
Is it better to cut back on your food or level up on your exercise?
Oh, I know this is quick fire, but ooh.
I know this one.
I'm going to say cut back on your food.
Is the right answer.
I was getting ready to...
I personally think it's portion control is
Yeah.
much more important now than the level of food. You can eat foods on this project that you would think you couldn't eat. You don't have to change the way that you eat foods that much. It's just down to portion control and the amount of calorie intake you take. And alright, exercise is great, but the exercise element of it, as people have found that are smashing the gyms here and stuff, you're gaining muscle in the gym and not necessarily losing weight. The muscle is for me more than effectively look the size of your belly. So you could be putting on a couple of pounds a week, but your muscle is increasing in size and it's getting heavier. Where portional control of foods and what you drink, I think, is the easier.
I'm going to come back to that one, the muscle gain and fat loss one. But yes, the answer is cut down your food. 90% of what you'll do. Don't get me wrong, the exercise, the football on a Friday, the extra football on a Wednesday that Billy puts on with Matt, the boot camp that Alex is doing, that's all great, but it's the cherry on the top.
Yeah.
Which, when you're losing weight, you try and avoid the cherry on the top, but it really is.
Unless you've got a sweet tooth like me, then I'll eat the cherry as well.
Exercise question here now for you, Champ. No, sorry, for you, Bill. Champ, I'd double that.
Skip the turn.
Strength or cardio?
Cardio.
Cardio?
Cardio, straight up.
I'm not going to ask any more questions. We'll come back to that later on. That was a quick answer, though. That was spot on. That was better than Champ's ever done. Every one he's taken like 10 seconds over. Champ, running or cycling?
Cycling.
I knew you'd go straight away there.
Cycling, you know that.
Even with half a pedal on each side.
Even with half a pedal on each side, yes. But I did have my seat fixed this morning.
There we go. Don't worry, Scans told me all about it. Okay. Billy. Book or film?
Not really into either. I wish I was. I think if I had to pick, I'd pick a film.
Yeah.
There's a lot less brain power involved. You can get it done quicker.
Nice. I like that. Honesty. Music question. Pop or rock?
Pop.
Pop.
I'll tell you what.
I've heard you sing.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm a massive wrestling fan, as you know, and a lot of the rock music from that is phenomenal. But growing up as pop, you know, I like them both.
Absolutely.
Could you ever mix them both of them together?
Pop rock?
Can we get some pop?
It's very pop on camera. Yeah.
Should we go and try against them, see if we can get pop rock going? And
I think it's been done, champ.
oh.
Okay, so, and that is Champo and Billy, our first podcast, meeting the team, meeting the media team. Hopefully we'll get a lot more people involved. There might be other avenues we go down in the future, but that's where we are at the moment. Thanks so much, guys.
What a blast.
I do have breaking news, very, very quickly.
Oh?
Matthew Savagar, is that how you pronounce his surname?
Yeah.
Savagar.
Yeah, he will also be doing an interview coming up soon as well. I've just agreed terms for his interview.
We'll pencil it in.
Are you paying these people?
Pint and a half of San Miguel.
They're good valuable time to share their stories. If you haven't heard any of the In Conversation YouTubes yet, we'll chuck out some links, I'm sure, somewhere that on social media that they can be found. But go and have a listen, they're great.
Yeah, super.
It's about building a really accessible portal for everyone who maybe isn't a part of MANvFAT yet, but also is. So I'll 100% get everyone over there to check that out.
Super. So we'll go into our amazing music by Colours of One. Thanks very much, boys. See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.